Hey, friends out there. This is Thursday, March 2nd, 2023. And it's just about 8 minutes past 6 in the morning here in Northern California. And as usual, I'll talk about a few things today, but I hope everybody's doing as well as they can in this crazy ass world run by money loving, maniacal masters of misery and mayhem. They don't want problems fixed, friends. They want quite the contrary. Solving societal ills is an anathema to them. It's the antithesis of what they want. They want to keep getting away with their crimes against humanity in perpetuity. And they want more security. They want it etched in stone. They want it solidified that they will rule the earth, own the earth forever, and deprive the common man of justice. They're opposed to fairness. I'm talking about the rulers of this dark world. Christ said a lot of things, and some of them on the surface might sound contradictory, but one of the things he said was, you must hate your life in this world. Hate. It's a strong word that's close to detest your life in this world in order to have eternal life. Now you chew on that for a while and you think, what is he talking about? He's talking about this world because he knows the rulers of this world currently, to this day, are dark. They are our dark masters, and it's evil. I mean, there's no other way to put it. It's just evil. It's wrong. It's immoral. It's ungodly. It's just flat out wrong that these people have gotten away with their crimes for so long, but they continue to, and we continue to acquiesce and go along with it. And so we're all culpable. We're all stuck together on the same ship of fools careening to destruction, the way I see it. I mean, if we don't wake up and understand that, above all, we're trying to find happiness. We're trying to enjoy our lives, right? I mean, what are we going to teach our kids if you don't teach them basically, try to be happy, enjoy your life. We have a constitutional right here in America, a beautiful thing, you know. It really is. I mean, you know how many countries wish they had that in their constitution? That's a beautiful thing. So enjoy your life. But if we're in a hurry, we can't enjoy your life. If there's rampant neurosis because we're all freaked out about paying our bills, we're living in a state of fear. It becomes a fear driven society. And that's what we've had. I mean, and it's just my whole life it's gotten worse. More and more emphasis on the need for more and more money. You need more and more. The nut keeps getting harder and harder to crack. Jeez, friends, listen, I've lived a bourgeois, that's a tough word to spell. Look it up. Lifestyle before, middle class. We buy into this classist idea that, it's okay. I mean, it's just the norm. It's just, you got your lower class, your poor people, the ghetto folks, and welfare recipients, the defective people, basically. I mean, I don't know how people write it, this huge swath of the population off in their minds. And then we got all these welfare programs that are just enough to sustain the problem. And you get all these high paying administrative jobs involved in what should otherwise just be strictly nonprofit, all for charity. You're making, everybody needs to be treated fairly, okay? Above all, that's it. And if we see a society so wantonly not doing that, we need to object. We do. I mean, if you don't object to somebody, I mean, for God's sake, it's evil. And it's got to go. You understand? The worm has to turn here on planet Earth. And that's what's predicted. I mean, it's going to take the return of Jesus Christ. I mean, metaphor or literal. It's got to happen. God's will must be established on earth. God is stronger than evil. Good is stronger than evil. Good is stronger than bad. Love is stronger than hate. But, being told to hate our lives in this world and trying to reconcile that teaching with this idea that let not your hearts be troubled. Don't worry. Don't worry about tomorrow. What you will wear, what you will eat, this and that, the next thing, because today has enough troubles of its own. So we've got troubles. And we know that, like, the joy of the Lord is what we're supposed to experience, this beautiful, blissful relationship, very personal and tangible and real in our lives as you believe. Yet, the other side is that we can't stop being human. This is, what we need to be the common denominator, use this in our minds to be the common denominator to make peace with all men, because even evil men, even, the richest of men, they're just men. They're just humans. They're mortals. They're stuck in a body of death. We all have to face this thing we call death, this horrible thing that could happen to us or our loved ones at any moment. There's absolutely no guaranteed security, no possibly promised security in that respect. That we all have to let it all go. Everything we're familiar with, all the people in our lives we're familiar with. And if you think about how few people you ever meet in your whole life, when if you live to be 100, I calculated once, I didn't calculate leap years, but you won't even live 1 million hours if you live to be 100. That's hard to believe. I mean, in my mind, I think, a million doesn't even seem like that much anymore. But hours you won't live. It's like 876,000. It's a simple calculation if you want to do it. And you can play around with the leap years. I didn't do that. But, it makes a little difference, I suppose. Get a few more hours. But we're here for a little while. We meet very few people in our lives. And, we love them. We love so many people. And the idea of losing them all at once because we leave this place, and then all our stuff, everything we're familiar with. I mean, what the duress, that alone, that duress we're all living under is immense. It's by no less than the mercy, the amazing grace of God that any of us can cope just with the organic BS. That's BS. Death is BS. It's a lie from the pit of hell, the way Christ taught it. Okay, he said it's sleep. Sleep and death were interchangeable. And that's, we're supposed to try and see things through God's eyes and believe and trust and say, yes, I want to believe, so therefore I choose to believe. I do believe then. Because what else do we have going? What can any of us save our lives? Can we save our children's lives? We would if we could. But only one can do that, God Almighty. So it is paradoxical as far as I'm concerned, and some might see it as contradictory, some of these teachings. But, we're in a quandary, a real pickle. Just being human. We're not supposed to understand, be able to comprehend what the word sin means, or guilt, or shame. We're not supposed to know the difference between when we're naked or not. Can you imagine? I mean, seems impossible. That alone. So I understand when people have a hard time considering a society functioning without any form of money. So I understand that. But we can do these things. As far as the nakedness thing, we can, save that for another day. I just think, there's nobody knows the exact stand, the exact way to think about nakedness. I've never met anybody that could say, yeah, I absolutely have how we should think about this thing. Okay, never. And I don't think I will, because that's our humanness. We're fallible. We're flawed. We're weak and pathetic in so many ways, blind, wretched. And we don't see it. We don't want to acknowledge it, but yet, that's kind of the way it is. And but we're also great. We're children of the Most High God, and we're virtually we cannot tap the boundaries of our potential because of our godlike nature. I mean, we've done some amazing things technologically, and these things belong to all of us because they're an accumulation throughout the ages. They're the collective body of humanity. And that's God giving us His intelligence, gave us the brain, gave us the wherewithal to achieve these things and make manifest everything physically we see technologically, infrastructure, or anything else out there that we've done, that we've achieved and accomplished as humans. God has done that. It's by the hand of God that He allowed it. It was done. But the evil, the violence, and all this, the warfare. I mean, no, no, no. You've got to imagine. You know, like I've said before, the older I get, the more I hate violence, and I don't see it in any way as a viable solution to problems. And it should only be used in a last resort as self-defense against innocence. Okay? So, very sparingly, and absolutely after all diplomatic rhetoric has failed, and even then, there should be more, heap some more on. Pour some more love on your enemy. Do something, make a concession, goodwill. And, people have a way to get their way, but not being violent. There is, there is, there is ways. People would, cooler heads would prevail that we could have us. We don't need war. We don't need violence. None of the other creatures engage in this kind of crap. And the money, no other creature had any use for this crap. And if they could see all the trouble that's brought on upon humanity throughout the ages, they say, whoa, no, don't try to sell me on that crap, right? I mean, the idea is to get off that crap. And like I started saying at the beginning, that's the last thing evil men want, is for us to get off the crap, the junk that we're all mainlining, like a drug. We need it. We all need money. God understands. Yes, well, of course, God, duh. I mean, it buys your food. It buys your this, that, the next. It's everything you need and want. Money, it's the panacea for everything, right? Like King Solomon pointed out. But I can't condone that. I can't condone that when we know there's people living out in the cold. I mean, I haven't met them all, and it's better safe than sorry. And imagine that there are better men and women than us living and dying out there in the cold. Their immune system's breaking down. We tell people to bring their pets in. It's too cold out. How can we talk? How is this legal? Where's the United Nations in America